Yeah,
PlayStation gigs. Teka, share ko lang yung live stream ko. Men.
Spaghetti.
Nanonood ka na ba?
Oo.
Tanga na, agrohan naman eh.
There's something here.
Wait, is-stream mo ba dito sa Discord natin?
Hindi, ni-stream ko sa Stream. Sa YouTube ako nag-stream.
Wait, hold on.
Sino una? Ay, yan, yung nakaglow. Ay, buko.
Sa channel mo? Hold on.
Okay, be patient. Bro, be patient.
You can see the double mayor hand, and it's just gonna have a lot of value. These owl cats are gonna be 0 mana, and this board is permanently flooded.
Yeah, part of me actually would love to see the aloof picked up, and we do get it from What Am I when you're playing against this burn deck. Most of their deck is very small, but the things that are going to kill you or finish you are
Right,
going
I
to be
think
those
I'll
top
just
ends.
have
Aloof,
to mute
if you can
yung
snipe things like
Galit.
double up in the
Yung
game,
boses
Sa
no.
it's incredibly important
Ako
for
lang,
protecting
bahala
your
ka.
life total and allowing you enough time to get this rally down and close out the
Oops,
game.
almost.
So we'll probably see What Am I try and play this
Almost.
aloof before
Uh-huh.
5 and a gangplank gets allowed to be slammed. It's gonna be hard because you can't play it with the mayor. So What Am I is going to leave up an opportunity where Odyssey might be able to slam this GP on 5 with the attack token.
The one looks so
And he actually goes
dead.
What am I? A big proponent of
Wala, di ko na-jump sa kabila.
Ngayon lang ako nanood ng pagod na ako karami. Tok na ako. Sama na nga pakiramdam ko ngayon, pero we must.
Still pushing.
I know.
We're,
You should
ano,
sleep.
I know,
Oo.
diba?
we're required.
Get some sleep.
I know. Hello?
I don't think it's always correct on your
Wait,
turn 5
let me
attack
share your
because you lead
your
But I do
stream.
wonder if Aloof Travelers is in the back of Odyssey's mind and he knows, okay, well, I do need to make sure that I get my top end down. My strongest cards
Tapos ako
need
dito.
to hit the board so I can
And
push this
wala.
last 11
And-
damage because, yes, impact is good, but is a Tenor of Terror and a Stone Stackers going to cut it when you're going up on a deck that has so much explosive damage with the rallies once they gain board?
Exactly, that's the thing. I mean, burn, you conventionally see burn as like an
Born
aggro deck. If
aggro.
anything, I mean, What Am I is kind of the aggressor here.
Ganyan. Ikaw ang ginagamit mo pang climb. Wale?
No, hindi pa ako nagpa-climb right now.
The season's almost over.
I know.
Paalam.
Kakatapos na lang.
The matter is,
Aray.
does Odyssey have enough damage to get through before that happens, right? There's 11 health on What Am I, and we see Double Up and Gangplank. These are two of the best cards for Odyssey
Super
to be able to push that damage.
Right, I used a
Does he have
different
time to
account.
get that down,
Saan?
or is he gonna get aloofed? Because
Did you
if
see my leg?
this game's just
Hindi.
done, right?
Sino gamit mo? Si
How
Joren?
does he win if he gets both of these aloofed?
Si Jeff?
What?
Electric Yordles are really
No.
Kay
good.
Jeff yun.
What Am I has
Kay
no
John.
power. You brought it up
Sino
already.
ba ba?
No, no. My account. I have 3 accounts eh.
Wow. Yuck. Bakit tatlo akong suit?
Oh, ilan?
Tatlo akong suit.
Work, personal, and then community. Hold on. I'll share your stream.
I mean, who's gonna watch everyone's asleep? What the fuck is this World Championships 11 mid 11? Oh my god.
It's fire.
I know,
It's
right?
fire. Ano ba talaga?
Nakahandicap na kay Odyssey. Kawawa naman si Odyssey. Tinubuhan na siya ng bigote. Sobrang tagal nung tournament eh. Hello, Atini. Atini? Atini? Atini.
Atini? I
sumama
think it's
siya.
Atini.
Atini. Atini. Kakas ang boses ni Elin, no? Screamer type eh.
Screamer.
Screamo eh.
Ian, screamo.
Sana, ang lakas nitong ano na to. Itong pirate aggro na to. Kahit binablock mo, dumadamage eh. Ping ping ping. Laglag si Ping Ping ho. Sad boys.
Yung Jordan.
Ah.
I got a delay sa end ko. Yan.
Huwag mo kasing isabay sa ibang pinapanood mo.
with
And
a
wala akong
Right.
Right. Right, dude.
Reducing his health down to 9 off the impact. Art sends him to 8, and this is a game of
Ano mo, kahit binablock mo nagde-deal damage, babatuhin ka uli ng 1 damage na.
double up could
Oh no, na-double up. Bye-bye. Ay, tangan, nakadraw siya na isa pang double. Ay, ang galing ah. Ang galing ah.
Galenga.
Tangan, dilat na dilat yung mata ni Watamex ah. What's happening?
Kaya nanonood, guys.
Sa YouTube ako nanonood eh. Naka-stream din ako.
I'm watching
Almost
his
ako.
stream right now.
Okay.
Oh, spokening dollars.
Sorry.
Ako nag-stream.
Sa YouTube, si Hava right now.
Okay.
Now, this is something special.
I mean, I haven't
Cute.
been able to calculate this out, but I think
Cute.
honestly it has enough to get the chump blockers down and has some spells like Poke
And I don't have
Stick,
light.
something.
Yellow.
Maybe not through Rangers results, but
Tangan, dalawang atake.
some capacity to defend
I really like yung Poke Stick.
Poke Stick.
Yeah.
Poke Stick. Yeah, goes.
Okay.
Di ano? Poke Stick. Ang lakas nun. Yeah. Parang hindi ko nga siya nakita sa reveal.
This quest and this story you're going to
Hindi.
do.
Ang grabe naman.
Nung re-reveal siya, parang hindi ko nakita. Hindi nga namin pag-usapan.
Reveal yung card na yan.
Hindi ba re-reveal? Nung late na? Pinakahuli na.
Oo.
Hindi, may early, ayun nga eh. Problema may early access kami, di ba? So, nakapaglaro ako. Pero hindi ko pa rin nakita. Naglaro na ako early access, di ko pa rin nakita.
Ang cute ng card na yun. Ano.
Lakas sobra. Deal 1 draw cycle. Parang 37 cards yung deck. Bagay.
To be here, Belle. That's since I keep your
Na, sakit.
Si Otis, sino lang ba natirang
See?
si
Yeah, I
representative?
told her about
Oo.
I told you about her.
Tanga na siya lang siya lang nakakapaglaro ng alas 11 ng 10 oras ng gabi. Tanga na. Yung tournament yan.
Where did you take your goals? Okay.
Dapat pag siyang nag-chow, no.
Why did this come up?
He's not a Havatite. Dude, kung Havatite yan, tinamaan ko yung mga dapat tamaan.
You guys are all
Right.
Diba, nakikita mo ba ako mag-make it rain?
Oo
Yeah.
naman. Arendisas.
The look of someone competing
Yeah.
11 p.m.
Resolvan.
Hindi mo lang magkasal dyan. Kung tinamaan niya yung 1-1, resolve mo na.
So you hope
Sa extra.
Pablo.
Ano ba yan?
make their rally? Yes.
Ang gusto ko talagang binaban yung itong Draven sa yun. Maganda yung lineup ni gusto ko yung lineup ni Alan. Naka-autoban siya ng Draven sa basta kahit PNC tsaka Noxus. Tapos gamit niya yung Ez na bago. Alam mo yun, yung Battle Cities.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yun ang kumopya ng cards. Tag in ang value. Si Impetus pa din gumawa.
Mid-range dala ni Alans, no?
Parang, Hindi, mid-range. Hindi, yung isa combo talaga yun. Yung
Ah.
yung isa. Pero lagi nababan. Kasi parang hindi siguro na-scout pa. Pinatan niya yung Nami sa sa lineup niya. Kung ano nga.
But what am I? A slower version of Scion might find himself a little bit unfavored.
Yeah,
Unless the Aloofs just bail him out again.
He might have a tough time early on, but we see he was able to find 1-drops, including Draven's biggest fan, which means he will.
Ba't yung logo ng World Championships natin? Parang no?
I think that
Ano yun?
could be
Reminds me of
another
something.
stabilize. The problem is if Odyssey
Reminds you of
continues
what?
to have that onslaught.
Yung pag nag-sparring ka, yung cup, para di ka mabayagan. Alam mo yun?
No.
Ano ba yun? Nilalagay sa cup para pag sparring ka, hindi, pag nabayagan ka, hindi
Walang
masakit
low
masyado. Masakit pa rin, pero hindi masyado masakit. Hindi yung mga mamimilipit ka mga 30 minutes na lang imbes na 1.5 hours. Ganun. Agro attack! Tak lang.
It's been playing, and it's why this deck is so powerful. It's like Draven
Haven't
on
saved you,
check game
pal.
is done. It's why Aloof is so
Kapag
scary.
hindi masave, babalik.
Kaya lakas na talaga na itong Draven sa akin. Hindi na ubusan to ng kamay. Pag tama mo nilalaro. Gawa nung 8 mana. Hindi ko rin napansin yun. Yung 8 mana, 5-4 na yan. Yung pag diniscard mo naglalabas ng 4-3.
Got this.
Parang, ano yun, no? Dark Horse sa release
Anti
cards.
value.
He's got to feel great
Tama.
to see him pick up 2 burn spells. This is not only going to be a threat towards Odyssey
Ouch.
to counter burn, but they also allow him to remove a myriad of threats
Oh my God.
down. The Tenor of Terror is one of the scariest cards.
Tenor of
anything
Terror.
Dealing damage to your face, and Mystic Shot plus Get Excited completely removes that card for just
Di ka
one
nanonood
turn.
ng words.
Extra cards
Love.
utilized, but
Love.
if you remove this,
Di ka nanonood ng words.
Ha?
Di ka nanonood ng words.
After this.
Hindi, pag ano na, pag championship match na, kasi tutulog na ako ng time na yun.
Yun ang masarap.
Gusto ko lang panoorin yung kay Alan. Gusto ko makita laruin yung ano.
Oh, sure.
Yung Ezreal din. Nilalaro ko sa ladder. Ang hirap niya. Pag nagkamali ka, isa, ang hirap umawi.
Okay, I like gold card here because you're just trying to push as much damage as possible, and the stealth onto the Draven will allow that. You also have this pokey stick backup, so you can remove the Draven later if you want to.
Pokey?
You might draw into a make it rain, right? There's a lot
Ano
of
tawag ni ano?
Pink City.
Pokey stick din tawag ni sa swim, di ba?
Ay, wait. Long girl.
Mhm.
The answer is just the Twin Blade Revenant, so he's
Oh,
just
shit.
gonna go for 1 block. He could have played
Got it.
spells, but I think what am I realizing
Yeah,
is
that's
instead
the
of doing
right
damage
block.
yet, I can afford to do this,
My God.
and then we'll look to use these spells on a
Pwede ipalag yung kalaban. So, pwede lang yun.
Unfortunately, not able to play the Tenor of Terror this turn. Otherwise,
Ay, wala siya.
Hello. On curb.
Picked up for what am I? This removal is going to be very nice. He can just utilize
Patay si
the
Draven.
Blade Revenant first. Try and pick off the TF. Now Odyssey has a decision to make. Do you protect this Twisted Fate with the Poke?
No, you don't. You clear the board.
Things die and start to refill the board. Looks like that's the latter will be the answer for Odyssey.
Yep. And Odyssey in a hand state.
Ang bilis mo, bro!
Dapat siguro mas...
Tama na.
What the fuck?
What am I?
Naglalaro siya ng PlayStation game sa ano eh, sa PC.
You want your TF to die, so you can use a second TF. But Odyssey, without second
And
TF,
she's
Alam mo
having
yun.
fun. I can
Oh.
see.
And what am I?
Lakas-lakas ng PC niya eh, no? Yung 200,000. Tapos nilalaro mo yung PlayStation ng phone.
Oh, bro.
He has plenty of ways to discard.
Ay, yung PC niya eh. Ang ganda ng mga ano.
We are just gonna see
Tapos sabay ano, sabay PlayStation 1 yung games. Hindi pa yung remastered eh, yung ano talaga. Yung port. Shit. Laglag na si... Ano to? Single eliminations lang ba to? Hello CJ. What's up?
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Yay, I got my
Istari.
fist bump.
Okay.
Sa fist bump.
Fist bump, yung loot na binibigay from ano.
Ito kung parang kay Odyssey. Anong
Wait,
fist bump?
Sa lore. Sa lore, yung loot na
Ah.
binibigay nila.
Ano nga yan?
The emote.
Ah, the emote?
Emote?
Ah, wala. Saan nakuha yun? Sa Twitch?
Sa, if you watch,
The World
15
Championship?
minute,
Oh my God.
they give
Wow.
you loot, yung fist bump.
The emote. The proof na you're a spectator.
Yes!
A spectator proof. Kaya ayoko nung card back eh. Ibig sabihin, spectator ka sa Worlds, hindi ka nag-qualify. No? It's sad. It's a reminder of failing. Yeah. That's why I didn't want it.
Slap to the face.
Fuck. Ganda naman ng card back mo, pre. Spectator ka. Oh, fuck. That may card back na sila yung mga ano yun, ng world participants. Yung exclusive card back ng world participants, no? Sa Hearthstone namin may ganun. Pag participant ka sa major, ano, meron kang card back. Meron kang card back na gold. Na ikaw lang meron pag ano, participant. Yung mga participants lang ng major events ang may ganun. Kaya pag nakakalawa ka ng ganun sa ladder, ay puta. Swag points. Oh shit. Oh shit. Patay lahat. Ubos.
Oh
Ubos.
my god, please don't run that way.
Ubos. 1 damage lang mga detail niya ngayon. Fuck. Talagang lakas, oh. Buti di pa nag-i-emote si Watamix.
Parang delay sa YouTube.
Parang dila. Oo. Nang ilang hours.
Yun lang.
Hours talaga. Ilang seconds lang.
Fuck. Kailangan pasabugin mo na yung ano mo. Di ba? Pasabugin mo na yung home.
There. I should.
Sa bagay. Draw. Stun! Fuck! Does he stun daw? Hindi, hindi.
Ang gasto.
Red card to.
So, yung flip pa lang
Oh,
dito
shoot.
sa stream
Run.
ni Hava.
Ay, oo, syempre, mas delay yan.
Yeah.
Hindi, ipindot mo sa, sige, ako. Pindot mo sa live.
Tingnan ako sa live.
Talaga? Nasa ano na ako eh. What the fuck?
No, don't go near me.
Ano pinapanood?
Oh no! My god,
You should
ang
share
topic
it
niya.
dito sa Discord.
I'm not that conceited, dude.
Na guys.
I think he's going for the draw. So this is less damage, but it buys him more time.
Yeah, he goes gold card, which, like you said,
Such a
it
tough
buys
call.
time, but it is
Yes, salamat.
Men, ano, mas gusto ko yung red card lang or something.
Yeah.
Or yung 2-drop.
Thing to her. Doesn't, you know, itch to her. It's kind of annoying. Well, you obviously
Yeah.
look your skills.
Hindi ko magawa pinatak dito. Fuck.
Yeah.
With that play, with a gold card there, what I
Well,
would think is
what do we
I
have
think there's no
here?
second Scion, because if we kill the Scion,
EPR,
the Scion will die, it will rally, it will hit for 10 on the Scion turn, but if there's no second one, I can survive one more attack and
4-drop,
potentially get
2-drop.
the
This
turn
is
after.
PR
We can
5.
see the second
Attack.
Scion in Watamai's hand though, of course, and
You lazy bum.
coming down if this is a
Oh my lady.
blocking Scion, and
Here's
another
the
Scion
blockers.
on turn 9 next turn with Watamai's attack,
Drop.
then Odyssey, I don't
Yeah.
think he
Ay,
can
di
win.
na.
Yeah, the
Talaga?
attack is a little awkward, right? Because Scion
We need
can
to
block
watch
for
the
multiple
World
guys and
Sky
rallies,
topics.
and this Twin Blade Revenant can block and
Men,
stun
ba't hindi niya
Odyssey
pe-play yung ano?
after
Ano, ano,
Odyssey
ano?
does not have the priority back to use
Fuck.
the dart. Yes,
Magme-make it
it's
rain naman siya
I know
after.
that, but it still is an aggressive attack that can come through from one
Oh
of
my
Bagay,
God.
dalawang mana dun sa 1.
and then redevelop Scion.
Dalawang 1. Dalawang poison, ano? Ano ba to? Poison Trook.
Poison Dart.
Poison Dart, may... Yeah, okay. Sige, I see you.
Ah, shoot!
4
I wasn't
damage.
prepared.
Six.
He stops damage. He's stopping damage. Every single point of damage. Fuck, may Scion pa siyang isa pasahan. Shit.
Remember that too from earlier, Swim, because I think it's gonna come up as we get to the end of the line of this game. Jordan is at 10, and there are 2 darts in Odyssey's hand. Make it
Wala na ba siyang choice dito kundi umatak talaga?
Oo, para magamit niya yung dalawang poison dart tsaka make it rain.
Okay.
Tama tong ginagawa niya, no? Watamix. Watamix. May dalawang X yung pangalan niya, no? Watamix. Watamix. Watamix.
That is the terrifying thing is can Odyssey
Deal
survive
2,
that, or can he be bailed out by Shrews?
8,
Is enough
9,
damage for him
10,
to go through?
11.
Two right now, that's
My
down to
God.
2 more of the darts.
So,
That's
Screamer,
down
yan.
even further, the make it
Screamer
rain.
type,
That
eh,
is
no?
down to 5. How many puff
Natatawa
caps
ko
are gonna be in
every
the
time
deck?
na
How many
nanonood
can
ako.
block? What is going to
Pinipindot
be
ko yung
the target?
Oracle.
The hidden pathways that are learned.
Sakit na yan. Paray.
Like he's a lot more. Silent Return is going to be 10 overwhelm. The Daring Portal will come out here on the rally. And And right now, Odyssey does have the ability
Mali eh.
to block
Sabagay.
the Scion return. So he's only taking a
Bros.
total of 9 damage right now.
Ang
Odyssey
dati,
gonna
guys.
slow play it. He's
Aray ko.
stopping the
Bakit sa ano, puro, no, I don't like it, sa mukha na lahat.
Swim, we have to think
Yeah.
about that one damage though.
Oh my
Add
god.
that damage to the
Yun na
tally
ang chance
because
niya manalo eh.
if that doesn't buy him another turn, then that was one wasted damage. It was one
Yeah.
damage that did not go
What the
down.
fuck is he doing?
Block this right now. He's playing on second Scion. He's thinking, is the second Scion in one of my hands? He blocks. He's calling the second
Oh,
Scion, and now he can
I
actually
should not go to the BD.
We know there's no more burn in what am I's hand.
Yeah,
That's
Stone
BD.
Stackers.
Pinakadulo lang.
Stone
Ma,
Stackers.
ayaw niya mamatay sa Zion.
That block was
Pero
amazing.
Mystic Shot, fuck.
The Mystic Shot gets picked
At
up.
7 mana si Zion, putang ina.
Draw something off of pathways. The Electric Urinal is enough to block.
That's
No
more
way.
Uy.
The
Why?
Stone Stackers is
Play the
oh, the
Stackers.
Mystic Shot is
What the
actually
fuck?
Why Stone Stackers?
Stealing 7
Ewan
off
ko.
of this, and the Mystic Shot
DC.
can clean it up.
It's exactly lethal.
And what the fuck is he doing?
Saved it. He played around second Scion for so long.
It was so close.
I mean, he's not playing around second Zion.
Very last turn, he
That's what happened. He's not playing around second Zion from the get-go. He was just misplaying every second palay.
What am I? Finds the two
Sora.
He played 99%
Diba?
of a perfect game.
That was so close. Every single play he made was so clean. He had
So
a shot, and there's
skill,
definitely a call to not play on a Mystic Shot and go in more aggressive with Euro.
I don't know, Kev.
Guaranteed if you do that. It's so close. But
Yun yung plan niya, pero,
top deck
diba?
Mystic Shot at the last second.
Top deck's coming in clutch. We've seen that happen.
Yung
Okay,
sabi
save.
ni Swim sa commentate niya, ano eh. Okay daw yung play niya ni Odyssey.
Oo nga, until do sa dulo. Ibig sabihin,
Top deck's the Electric Urinal
Like,
too, and the Mystic Shot. I mean,
I don't know.
I
Kung yung line niya is to survive sa yun.
Casanova, did you know? No.
Hindi, yung ginawa daw kasing line ni Odyssey to close out the game.
Hindi eh.
Hindi to survive that turn.
I believe there's a like that.
Nobody does that. Nobody plays like that. They play for the damage to try and do enough, but he
Yeah.
plays conservatively.
I think if you played for the damage, you would have won. I don't know, Kev.
It sucks to lose him, but we're gonna be losing
2, 3, 4. 4 damage yung na-miss niya eh.
Everyone's gonna be a banger.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I mean, I
Yeah.
just gotta say, big
I don't know.
congratulations for what am I to advance on, and I'm sure his teammate Majin is headbanging right now with joy.
Hi.
His teammate earlier.
Absolutely. I mean,
Wow,
let's
it's-
go ahead and just pull up the
it's
bracket.
a
Right
bit
now,
right.
LoRPH going to be advancing into the
Did I look so sad sa stream ko?
An incredible 2-0
No?
over Odyssey.
You
Obviously,
look
it's-
tired.
It is hard
Yeah.
to send
That's
somebody playing home.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Haven't talked to you.
Naka-display pala ako, tay.
More incredible matches heading everybody's way. So, I think for
Ben,
now,
say-
Casanova,
Lipat ko sa ano
let's
yung ano eh.
say
Yeah,
goodbye
but
to
it
you,
goes
and
well.
we'll see you a little
Yes,
bit
it's
later.
problems.
Let's go ahead and
Yan na naman ang mga
to
forever.
the broadcast to cover our
Yeah.
next quarterfinal match. Ava,
Yeah,
how's it
it's
going?
30 rats. I swear. If I see him again,
Amazing. That was a
Now,
crazy
calm
turn
down.
from
I'm
Autumn.
sure we can get it back. For now, let's do
What
research on
a
this
boy.
too.
Time,
Looks
how
like
about
this
you?
would keep us busy for a while.
Honestly feeling super
You know,
good.
thinking back,
Really excited
that's
for,
just the right
like,
thing. I just want
what
something
happened.
very
Imagine
important.
getting knocked out,
What?
kinda feels
Do you
bad,
find more
but,
deeds?
the
Well,
level
you
of
know,
players
those
they
materials we
unfortunately
brought
stayed in
back.
that pool seat
Let's
today.
see here.
Single Ilium is always rough because
I
you
did see with them again, but
Hey, my idol.
look at it, look at but I trust.
of the
The
tournament.
location.
It's always a really exciting
You know
day.
where it is.
Saturday, I
Really?
Ang tagal kasi ng ano,
Yes.
next game.
Well, I'm sure you
Snow
are
that.
so
Nakatuloy-tuloy
excited
lang.
to be
They're very
actually
close to
optimized,
Pharaoh.
so
Ang ganda ng ano ah.
They're
Nanonood ba kayo ng Valorant?
Will do. So we're
Where?
going to watch Alan and
Where
Cosimo
is
do good
Ruben?
May nanonood ba sa inyo ng Valorant? O lahat tayo dito, card game players.
Yun, si Alans.
Yes, let's go! Ito lang, pagkatapos ito, tutulog tayo. Maganda yung isa niyang deck eh.
Alan's
That's right.
Place.
And
Yeah, so you know, I've
Alan Zadkiel's.
for that very purpose.
Mogwai and Panda around for the last few days, and I was actually
A
trying to
class
a bit before
scout.
this game started.
What?
And even though I think it's a
Sure,
pretty
this
easy
is
push,
cute,
definitely
right?
The
try to
fuck? She's reading the text.
rather than later in the
Hello?
tournament. Obviously, they preferably want to meet in the finals. I think Cosimo actually has a little bit of an edge here. He's playing
The Chef Folk
very
deck.
much, Stockton and Mizzix. He's playing
And exact. There's still be a big problem. What problem? Break the seal, we're definitely supposed to use the cube. So what's the problem? We have the cube. But how do we use the cube?
Even though he's got
Hello.
12 work spies lined up, he is extremely good as
Oh.
a pilot and a player, and I
Look
think
at
this
that.
is
Is-
his best
The
day.
Bundle City
Very sounding
as
to be for any player in the world.
Without some kind of instructions, I have absolutely no idea how to use it.
Nalaro ko to sa ladder.
It's real hard
Nakalimutan ko
and
lang kung
forget it. I'll probably
paano siya
play my hand.
nag-play out.
Well,
Sina?
Yung Vi is...
Plus,
convert ka lang yun. Ganun lang yun.
Theoretically,
Parang didelay niya hanggang ma-play niya si Shelfo.
anyway, kind of
Ah, okay.
Parang siyang Karma is.
But of course, I
Share
think
for
you can
deck.
see that on screen as well. But
Actually, I'd rather
Shelfo,
not do
this is
It's
What?
a fun one.
It's
Okay,
undefeated
undefeated is
is
what it
that
is.
is true.
It's undefeated kasi
Oh.
ban siya parati.
fancy.
It won the only game it
Do you
won.
see that until you're beyond
Means that we
sports?
might actually see
I
it
honestly
again
don't know how to.
here.
Oops.
Just so there isn't this
Tadadadadadad.
Mas better ba to
I
sa
would
ano?
not say it.
Karma
Try to
is?
stay away.
Ah, ngayon? Ah.
But that would be able to tell us how to use cube, right? Then you have the choice not to see her. You're right, but you don't know her. She's so...
Gawin ko lang yung dailies ko sa ano.
Hey, I don't care. I'm going, I'll go everywhere for the bread. Alright. Making you to do so much. Thank you, man. I'll give you the directions to tell you. Also, directions to the wishes.
Maybe looking to push Alan another series.
Hi, Doc Ryan. Hi, Devin. Hi,
Obviously,
Kira.
what
Hi,
he
Roshan.
really does
Lakas ng bundle seat. Ng bundle na...
Yung mga cards, no?
Mm.
Yung mga bagong cards. At least nagagamit, di ba?
Kids.
Kaysa dun sa mga nakaraang expansion.
Isipin mo, taing Battle City, wala naglaro. Marami pang deck na hindi pa na-discover. Bago lang yung S na yun. O, naban na naman permaban. Naman natin yung corny.
Now, going to Mount Atelier. Have you been there? Mel?
Ano palang take mo sa ano,
I've
Hava?
been there before.
Sa
It's
mini
crazy.
morph.
Okay lang. Taas ng casting cost. Pero dapat
Okay
siguro
lang,
fast. Dapat siguro fast. 5 mana fast.
Parang di naman siya masyadong overpowered.
Baka hindi mo pala na-expire. Hindi mo pala ata na-experience makatot nun. Try ng matindi.
Very
Kasi
fun place.
against Scion Dex, parang ano eh. Doon lang siya nag-shine talaga.
Ano sa FTR din. Malakas sa Field Rush.
Ah, FTR. Sa mga big boy decks. Pero against sa mga
Palette and
like
night, we're going to watch the
Lordal
world.
Pirates, okay lang naman.
Oo, sa mga agro, lagi namang ganun yung mga ganong klaseng removal. Pangit yun versus agro, syempre.
Oh, yeah.
Lahat naman eh, kahit yung Vengeance, di ba?
We're gonna watch the
Ah.
Lahat pangit versus yun.
Great stream. Yeah, it was a great stream. I kind of enjoyed it.
Not even a double trouble to fill up those
Ah.
I enjoyed it as well.
one drops.
Yeah, that was the note I had too. This looks really rough for customer. Like
Mm.
this deck passes a lot. In order to level up its Nami as efficiently as possible, do you typically pass on 1 and 2?
That's number
Which
1
obviously,
HP.
if you're Alan playing this like deck that wants to get on the board early and smash your face in, is a super good thing. But we're gonna have to play something here. Looks like a removal spell. Line 'em up's gonna be the choice.
Gonna line them up, knock them down.
Makes
Did see an
sense.
opportunity there. Actually, we might see a full pass here. Cosmo debating not using the line 'em up here.
Bakit di nyo gagamitin? Kailangan nyo
Full
mag-bank ng
potential.
3.
You don't need to use up this powder cake right away. It does stick around. It can be
Alright.
challenged in
Time
combat.
to
but For
watch.
right now, it's just a damage enhancer.
Yeah, I think maybe he's trying to figure out what's pump skill he can play around. There isn't range resolve in Alan's list, so it's just shot sight, really, and riposte, I guess, the one of as ways to protect whatever unit you go for, and Shapestone, I guess, is the other one. Maybe that's what he's debating actually. Do I want to play around Shapestone by trying to kill the 2-1, or am I just going for the the maximum in air quotes and trying to kill this 3-2? I mean, this cake gets gotten a lot of
Oh,
ways.
man.
Single combat gets defeated. Obviously, all the pump spells that Alan has
Oh my
pretty much
God.
hit this as well.
Sinabuli niyo si ano,
He's
ah.
gonna play it around at least what he can.
Si Salis.
Alan lets it go.
And there goes the Fleet
Yes.
Feather Tracker. Not going to be challenging anything
You watch this
today.
stream. YouTube.
And now Cosimo passing the turn back to Alan. Now, Alan has a large number of units that could come out here and is going for Sivir. He has the attack token, which means he wants to get this damage down quickly.
Yeah, this feels
Oh,
great.
no.
Kaya ang boring ng ano. Yung mga decks na mo.
I'm gonna have the gifts for
Ano
the
yun?
spell here. Don't think Sparklefly is getting it done with no help.
Really?
Shelly or Sparkle. Oh, maybe I'm
Aling
wrong.
deck?
Yung mga ano. Itong mga napapanood natin.
Sparklefly is the only who.
Masyado malakas tong ano.
Alan's like, yeah, not so fast.
Zoe namin.
Ito yung isa. Yung action severe. Yung Zoe namin, pag di mo nang bunot si Nami, ganyan yan. Ganyan yan, tinan mo kung anong ginagawa niya.
Going for it, right? This is very much I want to rip Nami. That's not Nami. Now Shelly has to get it.
Iba yung power level talaga pag wala si Nami.
Oo, ibang-iba.
Sister ka ba?
Oo.
Possibly needs to
Sal.
See, paano, sa ano sa Legends of Frontera na
even though it's rough, there aren't a lot of
Kan
spells
kayo?
you can cast. You're gonna have to do the best you can with what you've got, which is this Sparklefly and the Shelly you have in hand.
The Sparklefly and Shelly, though, also don't leave a lot of options for the two
Sparklefly.
spells being cast. Spell Thief currently does not
Zadkiel.
have anything to steal. As far as I
Marami,
know,
7
there's
HP.
been that sharp sight
Tatalo.
sitting in hand,
Ay.
but never cast.
I
Hello.
believe that's correct. We've again we can
Hello.
Hello
Sherlock the
po.
first two turns.
Hello.
With the units
Tara
coming
na
We
in.
did
tayo.
not see them, but I'm pretty sure it was just Fleet
Double
Feather
pa yung
Tracker
boses niya.
straight into Brightsteel
I don't know
Protector.
stream.
Brightsteel Protector
Ah,
hanging
just-
out on the board
just
too.
live here.
And here
Bye.
comes Treasure Seeker, gonna get a bit of Waking Sands in hand to try and get maybe an even more aggressive hit next turn. Alan, of course, wants to close out this game before that Sparklefly grows.
Yeah, it's actually mono units, which, thinking back to that line 'em up knockdown the customer had to play, it's actually really like extra clever for Alan to not play a pump spell there because you turn on Spell Thief, which is a very cheap 1 mana burst spell that potentially gives your opponents other spells. So I don't know how intentional that was. I think letting your tracker go when your opponent's hand is clearly quite weak makes a lot of sense. But the
Yeah, you
knock-on
don't need to
effect,
hold on to a 2-1 when your opponent doesn't have anything
Right.
to remove.
right? But it literally turns off Spell Thief. You can't even cast it for nothing. So that's a really heads-up play if Alan thought that far ahead.
Double
here.
waking.
So here we're going to see the
Wala
moon
na.
weapons
Ang joke ng ano, no?
You're getting the
Kumainin
second
namin.
Sparkle
Pag di mo nabubun si Nami, uwiw.
Hmm.
And Merciless Hunter is
Nga
going
nga.
to threaten the first, granting it vulnerable.
Pero parang
Of
unbeatable
course,
siya pag
there is a sharp
na-draw mo
sight in
talaga
hand.
si
We
Nami.
may see
Okay lang, hindi
the
man.
sharp sight into a block. And in fact, we are seeing Sivir with
Di
the
lang
sharp
sinabi
sight
kailangan mo
sitting in
ma-draw eh.
front of the
Kailangan ma-draw mo rin
Meatbun
yung mga
and
lalagyan niya ng
LoRPH.
Ah,
Yeah, each player has a sharp side. as
pero
well.
kasi may ano eh,
There is a spell
may
thief and 3 mana available for
tawag
customers.
dito,
So I like giving it
gifts.
to the biggest unit there. See if it can just get it that
May
way
ano?
to remove any potential
Gifts.
problems. And we talked about Shelly, like that
Ah.
was
Kumbaga,
Shelly could have been good,
kahit
but unfortunately,
konti
I don't think
lang
customers
units mo,
gonna get a
may
chance to
pang
put it on
summon
his
ka
side.
pa rin ng units.
No, and right now, even with an open attack, Alan is putting on the pressure, but there are Waking Sands in hand, and I believe that Sivir's about to level up.
Kasi kahit Sparklefly lang yung kasama nung Nami sa board
Both
eh,
of these as
parang
1-2s. Yes,
ang
they have a
hirap na rin.
lifesteal, but if there's quick attack granted across the board, the lifesteal does not go off.
It's true.
Very
We'll see if
good
there's a risk in the
steps.
level and kind of turn that all on. Also, obviously, dragging the lifesteal unit to the far right of the combat, making sure the healing happens last, and just applying a ton of pressure here to customer. Like, this open attack's great. Alan knows what's up. His opponent's hand has been extremely soft, and there's no Nami, so it probably is Shelly and a handful of spells. So
GG's.
just want to make sure you don't run into
Diba?
Fleet Admiral Shelly comboing you.
Nga nga.
Sparklefly
Kaya yan yung pinalitan na deck ni ano eh.
compete with it.
Ni
Yeah, it's gonna have to
Alan.
be, I guess,
Hindi kasi
Sharp Side for a
consistent
bit of
eh.
extra lifesteal here.
Tsaka ang
Smoking
boring pa
sharp
ng
side.
I think he can live. 'Cause you can do this
ano
again
niya,
if you really
early game. Puro
I
pass.
think he must know where
Hindi, ganun
in
talaga.
combat the
Kailangan
Sivir
mo
does
sabi ko.
level up.
Yun talaga
Because
yung
if
win
the
ka niya eh,
Merciless Hunter
mag-pass
gets that
para
quick
sa
attack first, then it would work.
Kalmana.
So there we go. Sivir leveling
Tama
up.
kapag bangka para level 4 flip agad sila.
Sparklefly will just be dying here and not healing up. And there's
Yun
another
din,
3
parang pag
damage
di
through.
nag-flip
Cosmo
yung
down
Nami mo
to
ng
2.
4, parang ano eh.
And again, like
Hindi
very
dapat
tight
mangyari
with
yun.
Cosmo, right? Recognizing
Oh.
exactly where in the combat chain things are
Kasi
gonna go.
babangka nga na 3 mana, di ba?
As well.
Bang 3 mana, gagamitin mo ng turn 3. Babangka ulit ng 3 mana. Gagamit ka ng isang na mana sa turn 4. Tapos pe-play mo yung ano, Nami.
So Cosimo did just get away to go wide though. A double trouble. So what we may see is
Hindi, may
Shelly
situation din kasi na kailangan
double
mo
trouble and another spell. That means
mag-go.
these Shellys will be active and they'll both be building up these small units into each other.
Yeah, I think when you start playing this deck, you're like, oh, like it's so easy. Plan A is just like get a Sparkle Fly and then nominal Shelly makes it like 10 power and you win every game easily. And then when you play the deck, you're like, oh, that's actually kind of hard to do. And you realize plan B is go wide and get a board pumped up with either Nami or Shelly. And there's plan C, which is try and win with like anemic elusive units with by the thinnest of margin where your opponent's trying to kill you.
Sarap naman ng chocolate.
Cosimo's on plan B right now, which is a good place to be. But plan C is coming up quick because Alan's board is still very terrifying.
While this is a good amount of elusive damage, light, if it strikes Nexus, will end up back in the deck. You put those buffs on it, but it will just be wiped and reset and put back into the library. You don't want to see that happen. Cosmo, of course, lethal here, just getting in 8 damage from Shelly. But Alan with
Hindi ka mahilig sa sweets eh.
much damage on the backswing here.
Sa caffeine ka mahilig eh.
Pero kapag bigyan, matitira niya ako ng piso, ewan ko na lang.
GG's.
Uy, nabunot niya na si Nami. That's fake.
An absolver?
Doesn't
Strike up there,
matter.
the grappling hook, yes.
Anong gagawin mo dyan,
And there's
Gago?
also still a shaped stone. I feel like with Sivir granting these buffs, there is no way for Cosimo to survive. No amount of healing and hushing can get through the spell shields. And
Patay
game
na.
1 going
Should
to
destroy.
Alan.
Tatay.
That's exactly how you drew it up, right? When you play
All
this
in
kind of
na.
deck.
Dito ko na lang tumingin. Ay, dyan. Sige.
Deck's getting under you and beating you down.
Sorry.
All decks like potentially
Ano,
wanting
pwede
to
naman.
control every single unit you play, but that's better.
Nag-stream ako sa stream mo.
When you
Sige
interact
na.
with the likes of Shelly and Nami,
Ang sakit lang naman ko eh.
Lamig eh.
But Alan had a really great draw with Cosmo's draw, definitely
Ano
not
po?
panning out
Ang lamig
that
eh.
particular game. And it's one of the reasons people
Ang sakit mo
say
ng ano?
Nami is a risk, right? The deck does defeat itself sometimes.
You have a
It's
tick
not
in your
the most
balls.
consistent pile of cards when you do have to draw pretty specific pieces in order to go off. That being said, I think it does reward you for playing very well, and it can eke out wins with plans B and C, or maybe there's a secret plan D I'm not aware of. But it did not work out that game.
The
Alan's
fuck?
super happy being up a game here.
I don't know what the secret plan D is for Alan's
Alam
next
mo,
deck,
babe.
the Tri-Beam deck. It's to get
Alam mo,
these
babe.
vines go
Oh, yeah.
wide. We saw that happen yesterday. That
Alan
was
is
some
really OP.
great gameplay right there. And
Did
Cosmo
Mongoy join the
is
game?
hopping right into the game here.
Did Mongoy join the
is
Worlds?
on the
Oh, as a caster.
Bilgewater Ping deck now.
Want him to
Heard it
join
called
the
Ping City before.
tournament.
It's very good at dealing 1 damage.
You have to
at a
be
time.
good to
No
join the
more, no
tournament.
less.
He's good at
Exactly.
picking decks.
Yes, just a lot of
Okay,
times
deck.
in many of cases.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you do it 20 times, you win the game.
That is true. You only have to do it so many times. There is, of course, no healing in Alan's deck here. I guess you
Gotta play
can
another-
put a unit, a Tri-Beam unit with lifesteal or something. There's always a way when you're playing Tri-Beam, I feel like.
Nag-enable na ba yung ano?
Start again for Alan.
Ay,
Dragon
oo.
is always what you want to see. Ooh, stick to the face, though.
Yung ano?
Uh,
I forgot. Kailangan pala mag-stream. Or ma-activate yung Twitch.
Every turn you can't attack,
Drops.
especially when you can't attack in with something that gets you guaranteed damage like an impact trigger.
Pakalam ko.
Very good to go for the level
Just sa daw, walang
up on
thermo.
GP on turn 5 if it's possible. You can't always do it, but it feels great when you
Okay.
can.
Well,
Yeah, definitely on the, oh, that beam is so clutch.
Ooh,
Bank.
Thermal beam just
Kamot sa
taking
ulo.
out the lecturer. Still gonna see a poison dart to the
Taas ng
nexus.
card na yun.
Alan getting a
Yes.
couple
3-5.
shuffled onto his guard.
Tri-beam
Yeah,
impropopo.
the porta pot, though, is
But
like
ang
the
trend niya,
like,
4-5.
the card
Yung
of the day,
3-5
whenever
na
we
your
see this
dead.
deck. I feel like every time we
Ah.
see
Mana
like, the
3-5.
MVP, does the enemy have aloof travelers? Obviously.
Okay
I
lang.
think Alan has access to that card. In this deck, oh, I take back. He's got.
Bagal eh.
Never mind. Possibly you
medyo
gotta get it
mabagal.
happening quickly. Never in hand right now. But aloof travelers is ready to take out the double GP that's hanging out in Cosimo's hand. So you can see why Cosimo is playing so aggressively to level up this game plan, right? He knows that that's his primary plan in most of his games, and definitely in this game with the texture of this hand.
Get that GP on the battlefield now. It needs to be one of your units before it ends up discarded.
So got to worry about just damage here as well. GP with this Twin Blade Revenant and an Axe is not going to last very long, so you kind of want to go wide on this board, but if you you get aloof next turn, it's going to feel bad. I think, given that he already played the Revenant, Cosmo is going to feel pretty safe here to play a non-Gangplank unit and then play GP next turn, but you also want to consider, like, do I need to get my damage proc to try and level up this Gangplank now? So I feel like the debate is Tenor versus Yordle right now, lecturing Yordle, and it's a matter of, do I need this Poison Dart, or do I need to go wider and start blocking some of these units? And looks like Yordle is going to be the answer.
What? R2?
So lecturing Yordle, a
Ah,
very
ah.
effective blocker here.
Wow, sweet
Is able
naman.
to sit in front of either
True
base,
lang.
but with a second spinning
Binigay sa
axe
akin yung
in hand,
points.
we can
Oo.
just remove
Oo.
by the Revenant. So there's the
Yung
Revenant
choknat.
grabbing it in combat.
Signature
And Draven swinging in with
True
his
love.
axe buff.
Choknat.
Oh,
That
chocolate.
gives Draven
The
half of a
chocolate
level up.
is a giant
All he needs to do
fruit.
is strike one more
Killing
time
all
with
rabbits
spinning
is the
axes,
nut.
and he's good.
It's also been
Real nice there for Alan. This board just feels so good. Your opponent hasn't been able to really get on board too early. I mean, you're winning the damage race in this matchup, which is
Tangina, ang
definitely
lit na
not
ng
how you
choknat eh,
expect
no?
the early game in this matchup to go. Cosmo is basically
Dati
set
ang
up
haba
to
na ito
play
eh.
this GP as early as you can. Although Alan's like
Gusto mo malaman pa yung
of
chocolate.
removal over there.
Umurong na eh.
Can't feel too good. And I think Cosmo has to know there's, at least half of those are spells, because he's only played a Draven and a Revenant that got flipped off this Lost Soul after this
Can hear that.
put into play last turn. So there aren't a lot of units that Alan is committing to the board right now, which means it's just Removal City over there.
Parang ikaw, mali yung
Why isn't that necessary when you have
What?
a unit that just keeps coming back? The Lost Soul into the Revenant, into the Lost Soul.
Dating haba, ngayon
There's
mali na.
going to be
Malamig eh.
endless value, especially with it helping protect this Draven in combat lane. And a Draven
Fuck are you talking about?
You're talking about the chocolate.
Turn here for Cosmo. I don't think the GP is leveled right now, and he doesn't have a way to.
I'm trying not to laugh.
To level it up. Looks like 10 is going to be the. It's so awkward. Like,
Bakit?
you need to attack because like.
She be busted my balls, no?
This doesn't feel like a particularly fun spot to attack in.
And Cosimo's deck is not very good at dealing 3 damage all at once. Not
Eh, i-ref mo yung chocolate mo, diba? Para mas matigas.
from GP. So right now, this
Hindi mo alam pa paano gumagana eh. Pag malamig lalong lumiliit yun, choknat.
Double up.
No,
No,
you heard that?
You'd have to have something like a pokey stick into it, but of course, with only
Pokey stick nga tawag, no? Hindi poke stick.
Okay, stick nga.
Okay.
Okay, stick
May-
yung nabenta sa labas ng Lipo.
Na
Ha?
may way kasi. Okay.
May Y ba?
Ah,
okay.
okay.
Nagbasa ka na ng card.
And sometimes it just
Hindi nga, ito ina. Alam ko lang yung ginagawa. Tsaka alam ko kung kailan ginagamit. Okay, enough na yun, di ba?
Parang di mo alam ang pangalan ko, pero alam mo na ang gagawin mo sa akin.
Oo, ganun na. Yun naman importante.
I can block with my Draven, and he levels up.
Kinakagat niya yung ano niya.
Okay.
Maybe just send it here, but it doesn't
Okay.
feel good. You have 3 impact units, but Draven's gonna level. This 2-blade Revenant can trade again, then the Lost Soul goes back, and then another axe, of course, is coming out, so then it just comes back into play. Like, this is tough. Like, this draw basically lined up perfectly. Cosmo couldn't get under the Twin-blade Revenant early enough, and Draven Lost Soul slash Twin-blade Revenant is the engine that may come to define this World Championships.
May pasok ka bukas, ah.
Board constantly paired down, and Cosmo, the 3 impact units just passes it back.
Oh shit.
That's missing out on a plunder trigger, and also
Oh fuck.
burning that axe. I think the axe though did get value. It was the cause of the discard for this Revenant.
Wala bang
And,
attack yung
getting
trito
that
dun?
onto the battlefield is pretty big here because it helps dictate how this battle is going to play out. With Draven once again swinging in what it feels like a fairly uncontested spot.
Yeah, it's a great open out of Alan. I mean, you only have a
Sabi ko, ginagawa sa work, pero
you're basically able to play reactively because you're generating axes every combat. You've lost our Twin-blade Revenant online permanently right now because your opponent can't remove this Draven, as you pointed out. And when your opponent plays anything you care about, you have like every possible way in this region combination to kill it. So it's gonna have to be hidden pathways.
What the fuck are you doing? The fuck? Nah, dude.
Barrel bringing it up to 3 damage, getting more face damage in. But that still is.
Maliit yung choknat eh.
It feels.
I can eat them naman eh.
It
Don't
feels
worry,
like
I
a
can eat
kind of maneuver that you don't necessarily want to do. You don't want to use your GP just to enable.
Don't worry, just let me eat your
That is
chocolate.
the worst move. I think that taking out this
Social skills mo, huy.
before it levels up is
Ako?
huge. And I think that also, on
Bakit?
top of that, stopping this Draven from hitting you for 3
We're talking about the food.
needs to happen. Cosimo's down to 10 Nexus health.
Yeah, so I think the thing here is that
Oh, the
GP must not be leveled. Because I think if it was, the player just played the GP, make it cake, untap, let another cake happen, and then get in there and hope and deal with it.
Hindi naman,
And you've
pala ko
actually dealt
mamatay
3
bird.
damage and you've dealt with the board, which is extremely hard for this deck to do otherwise. But Cosimo, I think, is probably one away, trying to figure out a way to level it up. Oh, we're going for the double keg? Maybe
We might see the double keg into
Alan's dispose.
Make It Rain.
Well, I like that, actually.
Double keg. Hello.
That is a nice setup. This is the one make it rain
Thinking
Cosmo
like
has.
really
They
doing
need to have
business
this
like next.
I'm a big fan of
1-0 no? 2-0 na to eh.
every matchup.
Diba?
I feel like it's a 3-0 very
Oh my god.
actually passing here, banking the mana, and now Cosimo left with a tough decision. Swinging in using this Make It Rain.
There's a big promise. You can lower the aircon.
Buksan mo yung ano, buksan mo yung pinto. Para lumabas.
Hindi ka naman to sa nagbabike ako, tapos dito pa lang. Open! Look!
Changes your plans at all here. Because, you know,
TF is nice because it does let you do some cheeky things like gold card,
Sorry guys.
red card,
That makes
but
sense.
kind of nice here.
you and I see the not one but 2 get excited in Alan's hand.
Yeah.
That barrel can be sniped.
Oh, I think Cosimo's setting up this make it rain here. This is actually really nice. I mean, he knows his opponent has a removal spell, right?
Make it rain ba to?
Have to kind of do 2 things here.
Parang ano to eh.
Slow, especially
TF.
because he has to attack to get it in there. So I think
Yan, TF. Tapos response mo yung ano.
the keg's
Make
gonna
it rain.
come.
Make
He's
it
gonna hope
rain.
that this make it rain is good, which unfortunately we know is not going to be the case.
But you're going to have to use double removal if you want to do that. We might see the
So
swing
double get
first here
excited kaya
to
siya
clear
dito.
out the board a
Hindi,
little
parang
bit.
sayang yun eh.
This is very strange.
Ewan ko,
because
kung kailangan niyang buhayin yung
Desire
units niya,
you to
baka.
replace one of them, but you have
Parang
essentially
ano kasi,
slow
laking
speed
Tempulus din eh.
TF.
Wait, tanga na, boost yung board mo eh.
And if that
Hindi malaking
is
Tempulus yun.
stopped
Talo
by
ka na sa game. Pag
then you
nangyari
have
yun.
the Make It Rain, which is only a
Ooh.
1 in 3 chance of missing here. And of course, the big target you want to hit is the Draven and of course the Revenant. So here's actually some
Kaya, ba't
fumes
bumalik sa hand yung
starting
TF?
the
This is going
attack.
to be brutal.
Yun yung pinlay.
Trying
But
to stitch it
there's the
together.
get excited too. Oh no! And also, Twisted Fate. You see him hiding
Eh,
in the
nasa
corner.
nasa
He is
stock
on
yung
the-
red card eh.
Ah, si TF. Nag-envy. Nag-envy. Ganun talaga.
Nag-envy.
Best game eh. Triple A game. Triple A game, by the way.
Ala, bakit lumipad si
Eh, may fumes. May fumes pala.
A DC. Love.
Lumipad si LM bigla. That happened.
Di mo na nakita?
Lost soul.
Cosimo's attack, I think he just can't even attack again, which is like wild.
Sinagot niya yung ano.
What this deck wants to do. I mean, Cosimo is like 10
Yung
to
attack.
12. He's losing the damage race when he wants to be ahead on board, and he's also down in cards. So like, that should kind of tell you everything you need to know about how these first
Level na ba yung GP dito?
not panned out this series. And Alan is on
Yung?
the precipice of pushing himself
Yung
to the
GP.
semifinal.
What is that
Spell.
spell?
That's
So
okay.
Only has 2 health on both units on the board. Does
Some
make blocking
fumes.
a little bit tricky here. Can definitely take some trades.
Tanga, hindi ko rin alam yung pangalan. Basta yung nagiging 3 damage pag dalawa yung nakuha mo sa
Ah.
isa.
We saw that Make It Rain
Basta
was
ganun.
like, I'm just going to have
Baka
this
makalimutan mo yung pangalan ko.
I don't need to kill this champion. I'm gonna skip over it, which meant that Alan didn't need to stop all those barrels.
Ouch.
I wonder if he wants to let the Draven live here. Oh, level the Draven, right? You have a pretty free discard here with that Lost Soul back in hand after the Revenant died to the Make It Rain, which is actually kind of nice.
Ano yun? Sino yung grounded?
Trades here, but need to
Sa
look
akin.
like that line block.
Sa'yo?
Sorry,
Mark
wait lang.
1-1, get the spinning axe. And
Sorry,
slowly
sorry.
build level on Draven. Getting
Dapat
more
thank you,
damage
thank you.
and generating more axes, more discard fodder, and He's got overwhelm.
May chance
And
pa
I
dito
feel like
si
to
ano.
me, what this really signals is that
Parang ganda rin ng itsura ng Draven na yun, eh, no? Parang may magandang
LoR
animation.
is done all game.
Parang hindi sulit yung mga skin na walang animation.
Oo. Yan din yung tingin ko eh.
Ang sulit yung Irelia, eh. Ganda ng Irelia. Na ano,
Kaso, ang problema lang, hindi mo na malalaro ngayon sa meta si Aurelia.
hindi yan. Okay lang yan. Pag bumagal pa ng konti.
Tumana na nga yung ano eh. Tawag dito. Yung blade dance niya.
Ano? Sorry?
Tumana na yung blade dance niya.
Oo nga, pag bumagal pa nga yung meta, okay na.
Red Squire, yes, it's a blocker, but it's not much else.
Sa bagay.
Bumagal pa ng konti.
Time for Alan to get a very nice swing in
Hindi
hand.
man sobrang bilis nung ano eh.
Populator did show up in hand
Oo,
for Alan.
yung sa akin, hindi talaga masyadong mabilis.
Academic here, able to get
Grind
more
them.
spells from the deck.
Mid-range.
Pumpkin na?
Yeah.
Grind yung laro pag ano eh. Sayang din.
Okay.
Obviously, because we can see the hands and we know he's been letting the Revenant engine going. As strong as Lost Soul Revenant is, especially with Draven being active for this long, it is a fairly slow engine, right? It only works every other turn when you can attack, because I don't think anyone's playing, you know, the Lost Soul Rally deck, although I'm sure someone out there has been tinkering in the lab with something like that. Cosmo doesn't need to do that much more. He has this double up in hand. That is a massive amount of damage. That is 4 if it can connect here. We might even see the classic get excited your own Draven line from Alan.
Yeah, so right now, Alan needs to kill Cosimo before a buffed up double up happens. And with the ability to kill your own unit with those get exciteds, you do kind of have a way out. But, oh, that's also quite nice. We see a thermo beam off of this unit, but Cosimo now has the opportunity to land either the Lecturer or the Tenor or the Gangplank. The Gangplank should be leveled up at this point of the game. I see no possible way that he isn't.
Yeah, so I think what Cosimo is going for is, like, all I have to do is live this turn, and, you know, maybe let this rip, and then slam his GP and just attack, right? 'Cause I'll find enough damage.
I don't know, okay.
And if Alan taps low to try and deal with the board, then double up can finally deal the last few points, because Cosimo can't run.
Ayan, tumutunog na ulit si Lady.
You're asking it to do, and that's what will happen. Seattle's going to get the way of Draven here. So I think you have to block right. You can't really afford to take damage. I think TF living is nice. It's a decent, annoying threat with quick attack when you're attacking. And maybe if you get super late, it can level, although that's pretty unlikely. But Cosimo sees like enough turns ahead where he knows
Late na kasi yun. Sa bagay, wala rin gamit yung thermo sa ano.
Handles this Gangplank clip especially, because he kind of needs to dodge the removal, and this Thermo versus Gangplank.
Oh no, it's Ogre.
Especially because the Thermo beam is fleeting.
Getting the poison dart on.
Panalo na siya. Yeah, ano niya lang, tag-get excited niya lang yung papatayin niya, ano eh.
Get excited sa sarili niya.
Pero hindi naman niya kailangan eh. Point play niya lang yung ano. Yung 4-trap niya.
His own units.
Yeah, it's kind of baiting the GP as well.
O pwede rin GP.
Double GP. So I don't think he even minds that much if this one dies. Gonna make a cake. GP is definitely leveled at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge threat, right? It's not just a like, oh, like my board's gonna go away. It's like your face is gonna go away.
Your face is gonna go away because Cosimo turns around and attacks here.
Thermo
There's not enough to stop everything. There's going to be probably the thermo beam used as removal, because otherwise the overwhelm on its own is lethal.
Dami na kasing ano eh. Ping na yun eh.
There's the fleeting thermo beam. 6 mana for 6 damage, the perfect 1-to-1 ratio.
Second Gangplank. I mean, even 6 is overwhelmed with no blockers in sight when he kills them all by popping that keg, right? Obviously great for GP, but you just need a couple points of damage here. This is 2 kegs already built up.
And that's also another Twisted Fate in hand. And with the direct damage off of even something like a red guard, if this one dies somehow, if everything gets cleared out, that could be game.
I think Cosimo has this game.
I think Cosimo has the damage through. I mentioned near the start that it's all about getting through 1 damage at a time, and it has added up.
Mid versus Draven Cake.
Once it attacks, Oh yeah, it's just like, ooh, a free
Alright,
poison dart.
that-
So there's
that
the
makes
Ravenous
sense.
Lock on the Yordle, plus a double get excited on Gangplank.
Means the kegs
GG.
live and you can't. You're out of. Okay, you're not out of removal for this double up because you have Scorcher in hand because you're an absolute wizard. I wonder if Cosmo is going to commit the double up. He doesn't have to. He has. This TS still doing some damage. These kegs can hang around for a little bit. The GP's going to die. Yordle's going to die. These kegs are looking
He's
kind of spooky.
freaking... Di pa niya patayin yung unit niya ulit.
Are we at that point of the game now?
Jeez, I don't believe that they do. I believe that you need to have a spell or an ability that is
Yeah.
going out there, like getting the skills out there.
Yeah, of note it doesn't work with impact either, which would be a really cool way for Tenor to have a lot of pressure on this board. But it's scary. Like your opponent
The
has even
Tenor
like a
could
pokey
still
stick at
come
this
out
point.
there. And there they come. So no matter what, there's going to be damage coming through. There's no removal. Even if you block, these two are getting the damage in. And as I mentioned before,
Aray,
if the
fuck.
Twisted Fate dies, there's another Twisted Fate in hand, which can just red card for lethal.
Is the Reforge good here? I don't know what blade it is. No, he's shuffling it away, so it's not
Oh
good
no,
here.
he's shuffling away.
TF's going in though.
He's just going for the highest number of possible outs next turn, using pick a card to shuffle back in that weapon. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, I
No
don't like the
TF attack.
I mean, Draven just stonewalls TF at this point, so I like that. I mean, you know that you're just sending the Tenor and the base in. You know, the Choir's going through.
Choir's
will
going
happen.
through, dealing 2 damage. You can't stop it.
I wonder how many shrooms are in Alan's deck. He's at least 2 dots played, so it has
Hindi
to be
niya
possible that it might be
scorch
none.
dirt
I think
yung
it is
Draven pag di niya
Yeah,
pinamba.
9's like the average, I feel like, for this deck, but 2 points.
Kailangan
left,
niya pa
no
damage na.
Still 2 kegs and the double up in hand, by the way.
Galing!
So patiently to keep this last little bit of damage on.
And Alan just sitting there
Oh, the
with
Pokey
so
Stick!
many axes in hand. But Pokestick,
Pokey.
fleeting Pokestick, that's
Si Pokey.
lethal.
No mushrooms, so
Fuck, wala siyang
Every piece
magagawa.
of removal in Alan's hand is conditional or it's slow. And it's just not going to work against this Pokestick. We may even see something like the double up and the Pokestick saying like, you better stop both.
And this is the thing, right? You look at Piltover and you assume Mystic Shot. This deck doesn't have Mystic Shots in it. It's some Fumes, which we've seen 1 of already. It's the Get Excited, which we've already seen
We've already
2 of
seen
already. Yeah, you're right. Everything else is a Flock, a Thermo Beam, a Scorched Earth, or Tri-Beam, right? Slow or conditional.
And Alan sees almost all of the cards, or Cosmo sees almost all the cards in Alan's hand. It was the spinning axis.
Yeah, I mean, he sees every angle. Even without stuff being revealed, he knows what's up. He has played so patiently, and I think that's it.
We're gonna see Scorched
Sa
Earth
tabla pa.
killing the Draven,
Oh no.
but
Easy.
you open to the
Pokey
evil menace
stick.
of a
This
Yordle.
Dapat nga hindi niya na pinaabot sa attack na to eh, kasi pwedeng magamitan ng Draven pa na ano eh.
Yordle come
Na
up
ability eh, di ba? Nasa combat kasi yung keg eh, oh.
That is
Ah.
how Alan is gonna
Mali
go
yan
down
eh.
in the second game.
Hindi niya na binigyan ng turn, no?
And now they're
Oo,
gonna
dapat
see
ginawa niya na habang ano, before attack, kasi binigyan niya pa na isa pang out yung kalaban.
Alan on the same list and Cosimo on his final deck.
Super impressive out of Cosmo there. That draw looks
Sobrang solid tong
horrible.
Cosmo.
Alan had the Draven.
Hello, Jen.
Siguro na 100 niya
Right?
rin.
Basically, he played Draven turn 3, Revenant turn 4, and Cosmo was behind by 6 life for most of that game. But you said it, Amy. This deck just deals 20 damage. Sorry, deals 1 damage 20 times. And Cosmo
And now,
figured that out.
but Cosimo is now going to have to go back to the Zoe Nami list. And last time, the first game of the series, it betrayed him. He did not get a Zoe, a Nami. He had to wait until like turn 5 to get
Nami
a
players not drawing
was
cards.
rough.
Lul.
There were no units, no double up, no double troubles. Cosimo
Tapon
struggling
lahat.
in that
Hanap. Oh
first
my
match and going
god.
hard
That
early
hand
here,
is
getting himself a
atrocious.
verbal fish.
Okay.
But they're drawing a double trouble, not bad to start the game.
Saino is a good player, you know. Mulligan's a double trouble, picks one up.
Pass pa rin.
Zoe!
Zoe.
Always had it.
Zoe, when you have an attack token, is a very common play I've noticed. I don't think there's like little extra RNG in the game, but it does seem like whenever you get the attack token, you instantly rip Zoe off the top.
Ma-remove lang si Nami dito, no? Wala.
Dapat pag lumapat si Nami sa board, di ko na mariremove. Ang dami niyang pang ano eh.
Booby trapping the deck, and Caitlin's flash bombs are good at
Sunless.
removing the strong
Moonsilver.
elusive units, things that are got off of Wardens, Double Trouble, and of course Sparkle Flies.
Moon Globe.
Just kind of with randomness. But once they start getting buffed, they're out of that range, and it's much more about things like Scorched Earth.
Yeah, early on though, Caitlyn is a great bit of pressure here. Like even this attack, you obviously can't block the 3-2 quick attack, but if you just randomly get flash bumped, it feels so bad to have your Zoe just annihilated by a random trap that Caitlyn put in your deck. So
Caitlyn, why do you gotta be like this? You ever just like walk into brush and you're just like, oof, I just gotta TP back, and then boom, trap. There goes your last 100 life and you're dead.
Yeah. Spectator obviously wants to bank spell mana. Cosmo set up here with this double trouble next turn. See how close Nami or Shelly is to the top of the deck. But those days feel numbered. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling the flash bomb.
You just fucking punch
Well,
my...
what, 2x1s. I guess maybe you're trying to protect the Zoe.
I think Cosimo's trying to maximize the banked mana.
Shit.
Trying to say, if I get my Nami, I want her leveled up. Maybe not on turn 4. It might be a little too late for that. But turn 5, good enough. Then I could start getting these buffs immediately.
Adding more to the board too. That's gonna eat a thermo. Sparklefly is kill on sight for Alan, it looks like. Can't blame him. Flash bomb? Any flash bombs in chat? Oh.
Oh, there's one, and it hit the Zoe! Right as another Zoe was drawn, I should say. But it did, just as you said, just kind of snipe that Zoe.
Also, his face kind of says it all there in the player cam. I mean, of course Zoe comes off the top when that happens, because Zoe always arrives on time. She is quite a powerful wizard, it appears.
Well, she is a spirit, and she's a quite strong one at that. So we're going to see Get Excited here on the Zoe. She's not going to get to invoke.
Oh my
No
god.
starts for her. And Cosimo passing back, banking the 3 spell mana,
Oh, that's a good
and drawing Shelly.
I was gonna say Cosmo needs a good draw here, because he's kind of set up to, play this double trouble and then try and level up that board. Revenant, of course, is going to control a lot of it. Alan's plan in this matchup, I assume, has to be to just kill every little unit your opponent plays. That's typically the plan in these kind of matchups where your opponent's trying to, build up a board and buff it all up. If you just kill everything at its easiest point when the toughness is the lowest, your game is made a lot easier here. But those are 2 pretty good hits.
Yeah,
if you're trying to go wide on a
and
Shelly
the
board.
Astute Academic. I'm a big fan of both of those here. There's a lot of card draw and a lot of card generation for this deck. But what they aren't is elusive.
Basura talaga.
They're also not life stealing. Cosimo always wants to see things that are in that vein to get through the unstoppable damage and get a little bit of tempo staying alive. But with just Shelly and no Nami, it gets even harder to do. And there's just enough mana here for a Shelly into a double spell.
Unfortunately, won't get the attune value, but I think you're going to have to accept that fate. Maybe not. The patience perhaps exercised here by Customer. I'm doing a lot of math right now. It's very complicated with Bevel Fishes being reduced and attune mana having to be calculated, and you have to think what's in the Spell Thief pool. I don't think there's an axe in the pool. I think it's actually only Get Excited right now for Cosimo, which obviously is a very expensive spell, so probably not one you want to play if you're trying to, proc Shelly. I think if you're playing her this turn, she needs to proc twice for you to feel really good about your position. So if you can't do that, I think Cosimo's just going to have to pass it back here at some point. We do have 2 of them, so maybe you test your opponent, see if they have a removal spell. We know that Alan doesn't have one right now, but Cosimo has to expect that, one of a million spells like we saw last game is just hanging out in the hand.
This is tough though for Cosimo, not getting those extremely
Basura ng dami. Ang lungkot, puta.
One from a random attack from the trap and the other one from Get Excited. Alan, of course, waiting here,
Sad
doesn't
boys,
feel too pressured against these 2 units and knows that if there's a pass back to him, he can always just right back, skip the turn, and force Cosimo to burn so much of that 6 mana gone.
Yeah, 6 and 3 spell.
Well, what have we here?
Just has to be patient here. Cosimo needs a really good turn with this Shelly, and last turn was not going to be it, so he passes back again. Going to eat quite a lot to the dome here, it looks like.
Well, yeah, Alan not great at blocking these quick attack units here. And here comes the attack. Caitlyn, Draven, and the Revenant swinging in. The Gearhead is able to chump block here. And it can even you know, maybe do a little bit more. We might see the Spell Thief get excited and kill one of these two champions. But no, instead, just taking 6 to the dome.
Yeah, I think you are committed to the double Shelly plan here. And you want to save all your spells to try and proc them. Unfortunately, you don't have the best units to buff up.
This deck.
Doesn't have 2 Shellys down because last turn did the full pass and ended up not having an opportunity.
I feel so bad.
Which is really, really rough. I know that a lot of it's the mind games of moving back and forth, but when you need to have tempo,
Sobrang solid daw, sabi ni Jed yung Cosimo.
and your opponent has the advantage on board, that's rough. And now we're seeing the Sentry with the stun, with a Ravenous Flock in hand.
Yeah, this is a really efficient way for Alan to deal with this unit, but I think this is why Cosimo played this way, right? He wasn't going to get enough Shelly procs last turn to make it worthwhile. And I think he's just saying, you know what, I need to rip something here. I have these 2 Shellys. I'm expecting one of them to get removed, but I think the other one will live, and that is quite a good draw. Although Flash Bomb is going to kill the 1-1, unfortunately.
These Flash Bombs have shown up bright and early, taking out 1 health units, really doing what they need to be doing. And here comes the first of 3 Sparkle Flies.
Oh, the Archivist is so
good. I don't think it's going to live very long. Oh, these 3 hits are so good. Especially that get excited. With extra axes in hand, Alan has the option of using those as discard fodder for the get excited or the Poro Cannon. I'm trying to see right here. He actually does have, if he wants to be really cheeky, just enough mana to take the Tri-Beam, play the Sentry, and then use it to kill the Sparkle Fly.
Yeah.
It's not a good line, but it's the funny line.
It is a funny line. I mean, Alan has also been quite cognizant of Spell Thief, it feels like, throughout this series, which is actually a really, like, it's a really little thing, but a very good thing when you're playing against this deck that I think most would not have in mind. I think Alan's
Inaalat sa bunot, yeah. Basura. Kasi nga yung deck eh, ang inconsistent kasi ng deck. Sobrang reliant niya kay Nami, tas wala kang pang reliable pang fetch kay Nami. Wala kang tutor. Para kay Nami. Shooter.
He needs more spells. Also wants the tune value here. This is going to be a really interesting turn.
Sobrang solid na itong Cosmo.
Slightly thicker.
Naalat sa
A
bunot.
little bit of a big bug.
Cosmo, Cosimo.
Cosimo.
I don't think it's going to be living very long, though.
I think Alan has to kill this now. Oh, now it's too late. Never mind. It was Cosimo's priority. And now you can save the Sparkle Flag to have 2 spells to play. And Bubblefish across 1, but that's unfortunate 0, and you're going to be out of mana. So Shelly not going to get the max value here, but it's maybe going to keep you alive, right? This is how it starts for Cosimo.
And we're seeing a rummage here, ending up with another Lost Soul and a Tri-Beam. And having a permanent Tri-Beam in hand is good because it will start building up value with every 3-cost spell cast. Now Cosimo able to attack in, able to get these preemptive spells.
Other thing here, and actually shout out to Impetuous Panda who was mentioning this on day 1 when I was casting with him. But, you know, spells don't always interact that well with Nami's all units because Shelly and Nami are really good at buffing toughness, and they have a lot of protection spells, right? The Sunblast Figures, the Pale Cascades, ways to protect and buff the toughness of their units, especially when stuff's pointed at them, right? Cosmo even has a Bastion as a one-of in his list. But challenging them, like, right, Demacia lands it really nicely against this deck for a reason. And Twinblade Revenant, right, just constantly draining the little elusive.
Feels bad, man.
That's been a classic formula to try and beat elusives for, you know, forever.
Alan's deck pretty much always has access to a challenge unit when Lost Soul shows up. But here we're gonna see Get Excited. But before
didn't play the burst spell.
Shelly is gonna die.
Oh, it didn't matter. Never mind. Shelly doesn't buff herself. So I always forget that. I'm like, surely this unit.
Ano tong caster na to? Pero ko sasabi.
And we do see the Sparkle Fly is now a 3-4. I believe it's a 2-3 once the Cascade wears off.
Yeah, the reason I like this lane is for this, because now your Burblefish has cost 0. Which if Shelly was still in play would have been really sick at a cost 0. Unfortunately, I think the Burblefish are just going to have to block here.
And we're seeing the emotes from Cosimo he did cast a zero-cost
Ang
thermal beam there
Imotero.
just to get the free burble fish. So here's the burble swinging in.
And the Burbles will soon be blocking because Costin's at 11 and Alan's board is giant.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
Have you ever just been like,
Ew.
you know, there's always going to be
Sharextroid goes.
Inang, ang hot gago.
Tupi.
She is leveled, but most of the spells have been used up.
Tupi.
The chain here.
Good night.
Nice deck, by the way.
I'm just so impressed by the power. The
Sa likod.
unending power right here.
Yeah, you're dead. You just can't. Sparkle
Ano
Fly
yun?
is dragged to the end.
I'm playing.
Make this Sparkle Fly massive, but it's
Gago mo.
Amy, that is literally
Oh,
every
may
single
output to.
platform that got put into Cosimo's deck.
Every
Still the
platform,
Nagbo-block siya ng
every
lahat.
single one.
unit. That's nuts.
Hindi. Wala.
Now Alex just gets to swing in, and
Ano?
he's going to be moving on into
Buksan mo nga kasi, Pits.
semifinals.
Ayaw.
W, Alan ZQ moving on in the top 8 of Runeterra World.
I mean, that is the mark of a future world champion right
Nope.
there. Not only is he playing very well,
Pwedeng
but
ano
he's
na.
drawing
Ngayon
very
na
well
natin
as well.
ganyan.
You have to play good to get
Kaya mo
lucky.
pa ba?
In a tournament like this, and Alan is showing both sides.
Mag-surgery.
No, I keep on biting
Sige, bukas na lang, bukas na lang.
Sakit na yung paa, legs ko.
Sige, sige.
And I mean,
Sige, 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 sige.
Alan as a player is that Alan is a favorite. You know, he is one of the players that was coined as one of the most feared, or someone that people should be scared of. I mean, Amy, does the play really reflect that?
Yes, you have two extremely competent players here. They both play very, very tight, especially when they are focused on.
Anong nangyari? Ba't humina yung ano?
Very slow turns there because they were going over every line, not just that they could do,
Humina yung
but
audio.
their opponents could do. And I think Alan really nailed it home. I think that the first game was a bit of a wash, though. We did have the very bricked hand for Cosimo. That's gotta feel bad. The Nami really just showing up at the end of the game in game 3 as well, but that's the weakness of the Zoe Nami deck.
Yeah, it's definitely heartbreaking for EU to have these two players play here, and super impressed by
Sana
Cosimo
ako
to
yung
win this
babae
game and even give us a
nagpapas.
third.
Sorry.
He did not draw particularly well, even though the
Patis.
play certainly was basically flawless.
Most people will complain.
What
What she's talking about?
So it's exceptionally good.
Gaganon ako, no? Fix sasabi nito.
Finals, which I know Europe is very excited about. So it was always going to be tough here with someone having to lose, but Alan a worthy winner, especially when he's drawing like that.
We're sending a lot of great players home today. Let's
Yep.
go ahead and pull up the bracket, though, because we're also sending some great players forward. Alan now taking a 2-1 over Cosimo means that they will be facing off against What Am I in one of the semifinals. That is surely a match that people can be excited for. The NA versus
quarters na
E3
pala yan.
alive.
Ano na?
That storyline.
Quarterfinals na pala yan.
Oh, single elims nga yan. Labo eh. No, round robin, tas bigla naging single elims.
And when we come back, more quarterfinals.
Card games.
I know, I love you.
Oh, that's sad. Si Otis, hindi mo kilala? Hindi mo nakakalaro sa ladder?
Alam ko lang si Ice, ay talo.
Ay, gag. Relax.
Oo, naman si
Relax.
Oo naman ah.
Ewan ko, tama ata yung sinabi niya ni Alan eh. Walang idea yung Asia sa meta.
Kasi karamihan din kasi net decking lang eh.
Ang decks lang na gamit yung ladder decks nila.
Ladder decks ng ibang region.
Make sure you stay tuned. Ito ba yung sinasabi mong fist bump?
So, literally ba yan? C is at work kasi wala sila sa meta.
Patra.
Kawawa naman.
I mean, ibang-iba kasi yung meta natin dito. Ululan eh, yung mga madali lahat.
Gatekeeper yun eh.
Agro boys lahat eh.
Tier 1 deck.
Oo. Twitch drop yan.
Kuha kayo yung fist bomb.
Actually, i-restrict ko yan dapat para ma-detect na nag-stream ako ng Terra.
Ako din eh, may enabled din yung sa akin yung Twitch drops eh, kaya lang hindi ako mag-stream sa Twitch.
Hi guys, pa-help naman po, pa-drop ng deck code.
Deck code Nino. Si ano yan? Pangalan nito? Si Mati. Meatbuns.
Naka-push to talk ako ah.
Oo nga, tumutunog yung sa cellphone mo.
Ganun pa din.
Oo. Ba't naka-speaker ka ata?
Really?
Yan o.
Hindi.
Yung speaker mo pang karaoke po.
Hindi, I'm not on speaker.
Rinig ko yung sarili ko eh.
Eh di nagbe-bleed. Hindi naka-speak.
Are going to be. And welcoming in on the desk, we've got Freak and Skarzik to take over our third quarterfinal match of the day. Freak, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm super
I know, 800 SLP. Isang araw. 800 ba yun? Ewan ko.
The entire broadcast being a homer for my country, so I'm just going to keep doing that.
Skarzik, what about you?
I mean, Freak is classic NA bias, but I mean, Yamato's just really captured, you know, my attention by bringing Darkness, a deck that nobody, even Deadbolt Doors, right during the dev interview, was not on his radar at all to be brought to Worlds. And I think that it's a deck that's actually very well positioned despite everything, and Yamato's just been piloting it very well. I'm really excited to see if it might even draw a
welcome to League of Legends Champions Spotlight.
You know, prep for it while they're preparing their lineups.
And in general, it's not. If you look at like the matchup tables, Darkness is favored against two of Ikado's decks. There's a decent chance it does get banned.
Well, you've already introed one of our players that is participating in this next quarter final, but Freak, why don't you tell us about the other player too?
Sure, yeah, with Ikado, he's coming through with a pretty standard lineup here. Obviously coming from America. They both went 5-4 in the group stage, so it was a pretty tight fight for him. But yeah, he's bringing, I would say, maybe the three sort of most common, sort of believed to be strong mid-range units.
Ouch.
You know, with Poppy Lulu, with okay, he's running the Ezreal version of Draven, but like Draven X is in pretty much every single person's lineup, and they're all like pretty similar for like the supporting makeup. And then the Zoe Nami, which hasn't actually been winning that much. Like, and again, I'll make fun of Twitter because it's what I love to do. The deck has been, I mean, pretty 50-50 so far at the World Championships. Obviously, is a strong deck and is everywhere on ladder.
Yeah, now that players have gotten a taste of how to play the deck, they're saving all of their money for Nami to shut down that.
Siya yung owner ng Yamaha.
Having a really hard time finding
what?
We know that Ikado is actually very incredibly confident in
Yamaha Motors.
Band is very skilled and just beating it with the Ezreal Draven. And also, I want to talk a little bit about the Poppy Lulu. Because this is the Ionian version and not the Bandle City version, you've got more elusives in that deck as well that can go toe-to-toe with the Nami Zoe, and you use your elusives to also maybe go underneath the Bandle City Poppy Lulu variant. So Ikado, really well-constructed lineup here for the meta that he's anticipating.
Yeah, that is one thing that I forgot for some reason, even though I was prepping the matchup and I have the deck list literally on my screen. The elusives so frequently have 1 health that his list has not been lining up for him. He's actually 1-3 with his Poppy Lulu. Here with Yamato, he is undefeated on Darkness, a solid 2-0 on that one. Finally pulled a ban in his last game, but he's winning all of
Darkness deck.
His list is 2-2. There's only 1 and 2, so he really kind of did get.
You know what's awesome about LoR players?
And then kind of limped over with the rest of it. You know, another one of
They're
those
awesome profile pictures.
almost everyone did.
They're so unique.
I think What Am I is the only
Parang
person to drop a single match so far this tournament, so everyone's had their stumbles. It is hard to find a lineup that works in
Parehas sa
esports. Sometimes you just gotta get lucky. So, you know, here's a look at his Darkness list. It is again undefeated.
Seryoso yung post sa esports.
I think it's a coin flip.
Yung LoR, parang profile picture sa
a couple mini morphs, but there's nothing going to be that
Visa.
easy to target. But he's got a Withering Whale, he's got Vile Feast and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure some Poke Sticks. So does have removal and you know can survive for a while until the sort of Exodia comes online.
Yeah, we've seen Yamato be able to buy a lot of time
Well, I
with
thought
this
my lady
list,
was
but it's
doing
just
real
a matter
nice.
of, you know, how
I'm watching and having
you're waiting on your
Sun.
Sun or your Vagar
No.
or something like that to come through for you in the later stages of the game, while your opponent might be forced to slow down in response, and it gives you a lot of time. If you don't get your win
Yes,
condition,
2 energy. I
cannot
shouldn't
close out
die.
the game any other way besides the darkness. This combined with Yamato's potential to just stumble with the plunder means there are definitely some holes in this lineup. He's been just covering them very well with skilled play and by respecting the Nami Zoe, one of the few players that have been banning it, right? Just not leaving it open and trying to beat it. Just going to get that off of the table despite none of the players from the Southeast Asia regions.
Talas naman ang draw ko.
Zoe, they still have to keep that deck within their calculations for going into these matchups.
Absolutely, and like we mentioned very briefly, assuming Darkness is so. Yeah, Darkness is the one good deck he has that is strong against Nami.
We're watching Championships.
That one's getting banned away, and the matches, to be fair, like for the rest of the lineups, are like 55-45. Like Zoe is slightly favored against his other two decks, but yeah, you've got to kind of figure out which way it's going to go because. Like I'm very curious what comes through in the ban phase because again, if Darkness is banned, Nami Zoe is favored in both other matchups, and it's probably the ban you end up going through with. I think you're kind of happy with Plunder with all the pings, you know, probably doing okay against all the 1 health Ionias, and that can kind of work okay. But if you go the other way around, the Draven Scion, the other kind of side here, also looks really good. So the Draven Scion is the ban, by the way. That is the one going on. And if Draven Scion is the ban, what you want to ban statistically is actually the Poppy Lulu. So Yamato, from what I can see based on like Masters level win rate data and talking with other casters about what decks are favored, Yamato guessed the right ban and then you know hit the Poppy ban to help out.
Yeah, so we've got Aikato, however, staying with the Ezreal Draven. This is the list that he's known for, he's very comfortable with, he's been on a tear with it. Casanova mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, has been relying on this classical style of deck to just beat every other deck in the metagame and also the mirror match, right? So now we've got Aikato on his strongest deck, Yamato on the Darkness, which has been overperforming. And we'll have to see if Nami Zoe can maybe try to high roll into a free win because, you know, that's the bit of the meme, right, Freak, is no Nami, no win.
No Nami, no win. Yo, that's sad.
Yeah, it really depends how late the game goes. I mean, I know you talked about drawing enough cards, and this is what's funny to me. And this is not aimed at you because I think you know you understand the game very very well. But one topic I've seen brought up in the community is like, oh, but if this deck just draws all its pieces, it just wins. And I'm
that's
like, cool.
Every deck ever
that's
to
every
exist
deck.
in every card
Right.
game.
and not only that condition is already accounted for in win rate. Like, if a matchup's 55-45, it's like, but if it draws well, it wins. Yeah, it wins 45% of the time. It can win. Like, it can draw better. Like, this is going to happen. That's what 55-45 is. Like, that's how that works. But yeah, in terms of the Darkness deck, it's running a version that has a lot of the other Darkness cards, right? There's, like, 4 different Darkness generators. There's, like, 3 different Darkness buffers in the deck. Like, you're going to find something that's going to get those cards out of there, right? You're going to find something that's going to work pretty well. As far as matches are concerned, though, again, Darkness is 55% or higher in both of its available matchups. Meanwhile, we're looking at Plunder being equal or negative in the 2 matchups out there. So we're going to have Zoe up against Darkness, which, from what I've seen, is 55-45 in Darkness's favor.
Yeah, you've got the ability to generate a lot of removal over and over and over again to keep pace with these elusives being established. Catalyzer in the early hand is fantastic. We know that Nami Zoe wants to focus a lot on its own game plan.
Catalyzer.
Really do a good job of keeping your opponent from establishing theirs. So this Catalyzer, depending on how this Double Trouble lands, depending on if the Make It Rain is cashed in early,
Hindi siya umatake, baliw.
couple reps and then put Yamato on a clear clear trajectory to victory.
For sure, and obviously if you can ever, just get rid of those combat tricks, or get rid of the removal, you're suddenly feeling really, really great. Looking to find a champion at some point for the very late rekindler. All right, who's gonna answer this one? No one's gonna have innately enough health. Okay, sure, you can make it rain and block with Zoe, so you don't get a second charge, but...
Yeah, and so this is what you want to see with Darkness. We've got Catalyzer, we've got Stilted Robemaker, although there aren't any Darkness generators yet in the hand because we
Nami
wait for like 2 or 3
decks.
rounds anyway before the Nami and the really key targets start to hit the board. This is actually pretty acceptable for Yamato, and we've seen it repeatedly, Freak, that the Nami Zoe starts to run out of cards late in the game, and now Yamato can sit on this prank, wait for Aikato to be down to 2 or 3 cards, and then get vision and see, okay, what are your last handful of plays you might be up to, and then plan accordingly.
For sure. As far as card draw is concerned, worth pointing out the individual pieces of how this deck is going. Astral Protection is in Aikato's deck, so if you go for a Darkness nuke on Admiral Shelley, or
Double
Nami or something,
Catalyze
you can
up.
buff it up, get it to 7 or 8 health, and suddenly it's going to live. He's running an individual pick a card as well on purpose for some card draw. You mentioned the ability to run out of cards. 3 Bell Cascades, a pick a card, obviously the 3 Burblefish. Like, there's a little bit of card draw, not a lot obviously, but there's just a little bit out there that you have a chance with. So kind of looking for those, and worst comes to worst, hey, maybe you steal a hidden pathways from Spell Thief down the line. So sometimes there's card draw, but yeah, you're right. If you're
Wow, ang malas naman.
the late game.
Yeah, Yamato, I've actually had this happen in the mirror match where you get to the late game
Midday.
and maybe you've cast a couple mini morphs to stop Admiral Shelley or Nami from snowballing, then Aikato can then use Spell Thief to get the mini morphs and then turn those back on you to deny your Vegars and your Sennas. Yeah. So if this goes to the late game, it's actually going to be a really big grind because Yamato can control the board, but needs Vagar in play or the Ishtali Sentinels to actually get those Darknesses to start going face. Second Catalyzer here, still very threatening. Aikato's under a lot of pressure. Now realizes, okay, now my Namis and my Shellers are going to be that much harder to put into play. Moonglow could be the ticket here.
We're tracking Darkness damage. Right now we're at 3. Grant everywhere, permanently for the rest of the game. It's going to get stronger. And waiting to see, if they ever can get removed. Double Trouble could find some decent targets, but right now, nothing in hand is going to keep those 3/2s from striking. So even if they trade down, it's like, well, my Darkness is at 4. And, we're getting better, There's the Vagar right on time, basically.
Yeah, you can just throw this down. There's no threat against it, and now you have this passive Darkness generation. You do get 1 copy from Vagar when he first comes into play, which is nice. You can start sitting on that, right? Zoe's not really a target.
Oh my god, what is this?
Worried about at this particular moment because of your Pokey Sticks and your Vile Feast. You're pretty confident you can deal with her at any rate. We've seen Zoe level up a couple times as well as a secret win condition. While you're worried about the Namis and the Zoes, Nami and Shelley, then Zoe comes through with her level up, and suddenly you've got
I was counting already, but the observer made it look like I just read the screen in front of me. But we had 3 hits from Catalyzers. Next round we're going to 6, and Zoe Nami, they don't have challengers. They're direct damage. It's like, well, you could have line them up and make it rain, and you can spawn some barrels, and you can hush for a round, but that's not going to stop a round start trigger, so it's not going to do anything against Vagar. And it's like, well, all right, we're getting some real big Darkness hits here.
The good news, I suppose, is that the Catalyzer is the biggest threat that's in play right now, and maybe you can just take a little chip damage from Vagar and Otterpuss on your Nexus as you are trying to buy time, probably just for Astral Protection, right? You need a huge chunk of HP to try to survive that initial Darkness and at least get some value out of the Nami or the Shelley before that removal resolves.
All right, Darkness is at 6. Means basically 2 casts are gonna level up Vagar. I don't know if you're gonna get all the way to 12, but hey, on round 11, go for it. Maybe it lines up, but it's actually a single shot puts you across. But yeah, I want to look at Aikato's lines of play at this point because you can generate some more units. Keep in mind, a bit shy on units. Gifts from Beyond can get you there a little bit. You can summon one of your Sparkle Flies. So you're looking at the ability to get about 4 to 5 units on board. And then with that, put down Admiral Shelley and then spam through your spells. That's going to be okay looking. Obviously, we're still going to generate through with Zoe as well. So the idea of getting a wide buff board There's no Nami, but Shelly plus like 3 elusives is not horrible.
Yeah, we've got the Burblefish already waiting to go. That's going to get discounted as spells are played. Serpent was picked there over the Moonglow because I think Aikato is just saying, okay, now I want diverse cards. I want to get this Zoe leveled up. And when you get that ability to share your keywords, that's going to persist even if Zoe eventually does get removed from the board. And that means you have a lot more flexibility with Shelly and things of that nature. Not only buffing your board, but granting it elusives. It'll make something like Double Trouble a lot more threatening.
And I think we're getting, you mentioned the Zoe level up, I agree, we're getting pretty close to that one, but also I think on round 7, we're going to see probably like a 4/4 Serpent come in and go attack Vhagar.
Just to get him off the board, exactly.
Yeah, and get him off the board in time, because, okay, you can rekindler it back, and that's actually not horrible, but, you know, you buy a bit of a reprieve, you get the rekindler out, we still don't see Senna, so, is Shelly Sentinel? I mean, to be fair, that's gonna do, like, 8 to face? You just need that one more time. So we aren't that far away from Yamato getting to cast to face twice to win the game.
So
If you
sleepy.
can find a second Shelly Sentinel, for example. But
Outs na ako, buddies. Sabihan nyo na lang ako sinong mag-champion.
some really like
Sige, dude.
combos.
Good luck.
Good night.
Good luck ang puta. Hindi mo pala kayo naglalaro. Sorry. Good night.
Good night, dude.
But there is that through line. There's a little bit of combo DNA here that Aikato is trying to exploit in this control matchup, where you're not really playing a lot to the board. You've got some steady value generation.
Yo, where's my stream? Bye-bye, buddies.